This week, the MX5 Cup action has been coming from the East layout of the Suzuka International Circuit. As the week has gone on, I feel like I've got a lot more consistent and I've been able to increase my pace. But on Saturday, we took part in a race where I kind of feel it's possibly my best race to date. We managed to keep it clean, and I even feel like I held my own in a turn one overtake, which is not that I've done a lot of them up to now, but probably the best move I have done on a Assetto Corsa up to this point. Let's jump into the race and I'll show you exactly what I mean. All right, the race is about to start here, and away we go from P8 on the grid. Got a little bit bogged down on the start, so we're actually going to lose a place there. And we're now down to P9 as we head into turn one. Just being tentative as always as we get really close to the car in front there. He applied the brakes a little bit earlier than I anticipated. So, but yeah, we managed to keep it clean as we round the first corner. We've actually got our teammate Mike V behind us from Full Throttle Racing as we enter the S's here for the first time. And like I say, you just got to be very careful in these opening laps. It's not really until about the end of lap 2, beginning of lap 3, as there's a massive pilot behind us, and unfortunately our teammate actually got caught up in that. But yeah, it's not really till the end of lap 2, beginning of lap 3 that you can really start to push when the tires have actually upped the temperature and up to pressure. But round the final corner for the first time, and Jay Marston behind us is really closing. He's a 10th behind us. He's gained a 10th out the final corner. So as we're coming down, start finish straight down towards turn one, he's going to come alongside us, and we're going to see if we can't hold our ground here. I'm not going to cut in front of him, of course. He is alongside me, but side by side into turn one, and he takes the racing line. And I was trying to get like a bit of a cutback, but I drifted out too wide as he gets a bit of a swapper on. We come a little bit back at him into the S's, but it's not really worth trying to attack and make a move here. So yeah, as he gets another big slide here through the S's. So I'm feeling like either he's pushing too hard on the cold tires or he feels a little bit vulnerable through the S's section. So we'll keep that in mind as we proceed on here into the final corner for the second time. He really does cut that final corner there. We try and waiting to get onto the power, and as we do, we are half a second, 6/10 behind Jay Marston crossing the start finish line. But now the tires are at a range where we can really start to push a little bit more as we're gaining a little bit here with the slipstream. Into turn one we go. I really feel like I'm getting a really good handle on turn one now. I've been like really trying to get a much better line as we take a nice line through there and manage to gain a couple of tenths on exit. Still right with him here as we enter the S's section. He's still very squiggly in front of us as we through the middle of the S's section here. It's probably like the strongest part of my lap right here, the through the S's section. It's like the final corners where I've been really kind of trying to improve my racing style and improve my pace as we get an off in front of us. So it's going to make everybody a little bit slower in front of us, but it gives us an opportunity to catch up as we now enter lap number 4 here. 12-minute race as always with the MX5 Cup action. So we're down to turn one here, and I think I'm just going to actually play this quite cautiously. As we don't play it cautiously at all, we send it, think about sending it up the inside, but at the kind of correct mid-corner. And the guy there off to the infield on the inside. So we gain a place there. And now we've got a nice little battle beginning here with MPECH. 3/10 behind as we go through the S's section. And yeah, I think at this point I was really thinking, you know what, I am a lot quicker than you through here. I think I was a lot quicker overall across the lap as we come around the final corner to begin lap number 5. We are only 3/10 behind and gaining out of the final corner. And I'm thinking, right, we've got the speed here. Is it time to look for a move? We're a 10th behind. We pull alongside. And we're going to dive one down the inside here. and he gives me plenty of space. Actually goes a little bit wide onto the curb. He came back at us on the exit of the corner, but we had the apex and we were able to get the power down a little bit earlier. So as we're coming into the S's section, yeah, we managed to stay ahead, and yeah, that was a pretty good move. So here we are again. I wanted to come on board just to watch this move from my perspective here, but as you can see, like we got a great exit out the final corner, and we're picking up the slipstream. We're at this point with 2/10, but we are gaining very rapidly at this point as we pull out, and I'm just praying that, you know, just give me space, don't cut into me. But he did, and we actually got a little bit of a back end out there, but I managed to keep a slow, tight line into turn one, which allowed me to get the power down a lot earlier than MPECH behind me, and ultimately that allowed me to maintain the position into the S's section. So head down time again, and now we need to try and build a bit of a gap to MPECH, and hopefully we can start to make some inroads on the guy who ahead. He is currently 3.5 seconds ahead as we round the final corner again into lap number 6. And we actually dip a wheel onto the grass, and I was quite nervous here that MPECH was going to like gain on me. So I decided to sort of move across to try and break the toe so that he wouldn't get as much momentum behind me. But we got enough of a gap. There's 0.6 of a second to as we enter turn one, and nice line through there, good exit, and we should be able to build a little bit more of a gap. And yeah, the gap's almost back up to a second. So yeah, like I said, though we had that little moment there, now we got head down, and we are making inroads here on A Munoz ahead of us. So the battle continues here, and just keeping it nice and steady through the S's. We're got the gap down to under 3 seconds here, and we're pulling almost second and a half now over MPECH as we cross the start finish line. And I was looking ahead at like down the start finish straight at this point, and like the leading group aren't that far away, as you can see there. There's another group there that's just gone round to the right of the turn one, and the other group isn't too far ahead from them. So yeah, we're not like a million miles away out of this race as we increase the gap to almost 2 seconds here over MPECH. But in front of us, the gap is holding steady at the minute to about 3 seconds. So I've just got to keep trying to keep it consistent, which is one thing I feel this week I have made massive progress on. Like, I've been watching my lap times throughout the races, and I've been steadily consistent in like the 57s, low 58s. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way I've progressed myself here this week in terms of like my pace and everything. So yeah, only better things to come. I think it'll be interesting though once we get to some different circuits, possibly the MX5 Cup, where there's more braking zones and it's a bit more technical than just like I said before. This track is very much a case of full throttle pretty much all the way around, a few lifts if you get like through the S's sections, but the majority of the time you're wanting to keep that throttle planted, and there's no real braking sections other than into turn one. Get like the second part of the corner, the second apex, get the car tucked in and turned into the right. So it'll be interesting to see when we go to other tracks on the MX5 Cup whether or not you know, we can be a little bit more competitive and we can get some more overtaking action. But yeah, we slowly, I thought we was reeling him in then, but again the gap's kind of like increased again to about 3 seconds. So we've got about 5 laps to go here, maybe 6 looking at the replay. So I think at this point I'm thinking, okay, so I know I'm quick through the S's, and I feel like turn one is where I'm losing time. So at this point I was really thinking to myself, right, I just got to focus on getting a good entry and a good exit into turn one, and then being consistent through the S's section. I felt like if I could do that, then I could really close the gap. As somebody's gone off in front of us here, so we're going to get another free place here. kind of compromised my line a little bit. I appreciate they were like moving across the road there to give us a little bit of space, but I was actually, my line through there kind of drifts out to the right, so I was a little bit compromised. But we have managed to gain half a second to aim on us in front of us. So we carry on here. 5 to go. Down to 2.2 seconds. And yeah, I'm getting to a point now where I'm not sliding the car as much into turn one, and I feel like that's where I was losing a lot of time. There's still that example there's still a bit of time on the table because I didn't like go out all the way to the left hand side of the track there and use the curb. And I think if you've got a good tight line, as your natural line through there as you hit the second apex should go out to the curb. So occasionally we hit it, occasionally we don't, so it's still like a big work in progress. But this final corner definitely is a corner now where I feel like I've found my rhythm and groove through it, as we're now, the gap is under 2 seconds as we cross the start finish line with about 4 to go. So there's still plenty of time in this race to catch and make a move on Eamon us in front of us. He's also gaining on the pack in front. As you see, the cars in front of us are now a lot closer than they were before. As we round the second apex again. Again, we're still quite a way off the curb on that lap, but we're round it successfully. Gap down to under 1.5 seconds now. And yeah, we're just keeping it tidy, keeping it nice and clean. Chipping away at that gap. Hoping that if I fill his rear view mirrors and he sees me coming, you know, it might put a bit of pressure on him and, you know, he may cause a mistake or something. But we've gained almost half a second there, or we had by the end of the S's. But he's got a pretty good exit there out of the final corner. As we've got 3 to go here in this race. 3 to go and 1.4 seconds to find. 2 cars in front. There's one off there on turn 1. 2 of them have gone off there, actually. So did we gain 2 places here? I think we did, yeah. So that's another 2 places gained there. But I think it kind of compromised my line and my run through turn 1. I was sort of a little bit distracted by what was going on the left. So turn 1 for me there was a little bit slower than normal. But just keeping it nice and tidy, as always. And I do believe, actually, this is for a P4 as well. This battle that we're in right now. Definitely not going to catch P3 at this rate because they're 14 seconds at the road. You see, they're the leader, and P2 and P3 are at the end of the start finish straight there into turn 1. But 1.4 seconds, 2 laps to go, and yeah, I'm thinking at this point it's. The gap has pretty much stabilized. We're not really gaining enough time to be able to do anything in the remaining 2 laps, but just trying to keep that nice and tidy line through there as Eamon has drifted out wide a little bit there, and we kept a nice tidy line. So we've actually gained about 6-7 tenths on this lap. Now it's down to 4 tenths of a second. So yeah, can we actually keep it nice and clean on this penultimate lap to get a good run out the final corner? I'm trying to make sure I've got a good line through here to give me a good line through this final corner. And whether or not I've got a tight enough line on this final part, we seem to be on the power. And here we go. Final lap. We are 0.3 of a second behind as he goes off the track. And yeah, he's actually stopped. He has pulled off the track and stopped. But that's because I've got it massively wrong. And that was the end of the race. Oh dear. So I got a little bit carried away there. I thought we had another lap to go. We didn't. But yeah, final lap, we were within touching distance with 0.3 of a second on that final lap. If only those other 2 guys had made that mistake on the previous lap and we had another run in, I think that last lap could have been very, very tasty indeed with such a good gap. I think they got a good slipstream down the start finish straight. But yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed this race. It was a P5 in the end, so we were battling for P4, but very closely fought there. Managed to gain 5 positions as well in that race. So yeah, all in all, a fantastic race, and I really enjoyed that one. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. I am now looking forward to next week when the new track for the MX5 Cup comes into play. As always, guys, let me know what your thoughts are down below, whether you enjoyed this one, what you thought of my move down the inside. I felt it was a really good move for me. Certainly, I've never done a move like that before since I've been doing this sim racing over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, all in all, I think it's great progress shown by myself. As always, guys, that brings us to the end. And all I've got to say is thank you very much for watching. And until next time, see ya.